Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chasing Psychological Safety. Today about hybrid / remote / new types of work. So we all know we've entered this new paradigm where work looks very different than the 9-to-5 office encounters we previously were living in. There is almost no one, I would hope, that is hoping to get back to the exact pre-COVID situation of simply clocking in and out of a place where you sit down and you look into a computer and you look busy. Those days are thankfully gone. The one good win, obviously, of the pandemic has been the fact that we have proven it's possible to be incredibly functional while working from home. So in this new hybrid reality, most places are attempting to figure out what it means. Unfortunately, there are a lot of places that are creating very artificial top-down, sitting in an ivory tower sort of policies that realistically are very unlikely to succeed. There are some really good resources out there, in particular if you look towards, as I showed in our article yesterday, companies that have done this for a while. It's not their first rodeo with remote. It's not their first rodeo with what it means to have interactions that are fruitful and teams that are high performance. So look towards them to get some indications. People like GitHub, people like Microsoft, Cisco, obviously anything that comes out of the DevOps superheroes and the IT Revolution House and so on. So read all those things, but realistically also focus on trying to filter out the noise. There's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of opinion, which is great, but use that to invite dialogue internally and not to kind of dictate some theoretical policies. So what we're most keen on is that you hold the space for a true dialogue where you all co-create this new future of work. It's anybody's game. There's no rules. Nobody has it right. It's your time to experiment what exactly is going to land well for you as an enterprise and then for the teams inside it in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really starting to come out now, and we're seeing teams actively working out how to do hybrid / remote working for themselves, is that lots of organizations have created the policies and you know, that's all good. The best ones are the ones that give people the most freedom, the most agency, and the most choice over how they work together now. But what we're starting to see is that people are falling into, shall we say, the trap of just coming back into the office on the same day and doing exactly what they did before, or doing exactly what they would be doing at home, but in the office. And that's a pretty dangerous place to get into, because we're looking at hybrid work now, not just going back into the office. They're two different things. And there are two things that teams can really, really valuably focus on now, and focus on doing in a way that they didn't do them before. So one of those is when you are in the office, using that time in the most valuable possible way that you can. So if you're in the office together, how are you co-creating? How are you collaborating? How are you having the best generative discussions and conversations to really move your work forward as a team, looking at your shared goals, your objectives, your purpose, and making sure that your work is moving forward collectively in the best possible way it can, rather than going into the office, sitting down, doing your emails at your desk, having a chat to your colleagues and doing some Zoom calls. Like, that's not going to make a big difference, even if you are sitting next to your colleague. The other one will make a big difference. And the other one, which is a bit of an elephant in the room still, possibly because we're coming out of COVID, but we'll get on the agenda fast, I think, and the companies that are going to be ahead of the curve are the ones that really think about this, are how do we spend time together now as teams socially? You know, do we default back to, you know, pub at lunchtime on a Thursday, if that's the day we're all in the office? Or do we start to, again, understand that nobody's got this yet? No one knows what the answer is, and we need to be experimental about that. We think the companies that will be fast, like ahead of the curve on this, will be the ones that give people permission, budget, dare we say it, to spend time together and think about how they spend time together and experiment with how they spend time together, because we need both as teams. We need that wonderful collaborative co-creation time together in the office, and we need social time as well. So if we can get those two in a really, really strong place. As a team, as a hybrid working team, you're going to be looking much, much stronger than if you don't look at those two things.
Right. And as ever, if you're going to choose only one thing to focus on, simply because it just happens to encompass everything else, focus on psychological safety, it does touch on every other type of behavior you want in a high-performing team. There's no highly well-doing team that doesn't have not only high psychological safety in isolation, but they are also really courageous in their conversations. They're very trusting and able to be collaborative about this new future of work. They are engaged enough, they're learning together enough, and they're resilient and flexible. So yeah, if you're going to focus on any one thing, as usual, we would say this: focus on psychological safety, come talk to us. Happy to give you the tools to keep monitoring what this experiment looks like for you. Because as we said, regard this next year or two as an exploration and just see what starts feeling right for your particular enterprise. Be flexible enough to take that into account, to look at the data, to rediscuss it, and you cannot go wrong. So best of luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. Bye.